Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your man, Greg Meriweather. And can y'all hear me? Y'all can give me some feedback. Uh, so we are here. Crazy being back online, being back live. Just a lot going on. Um, you know, I decided to do this show because I thought a lot of people were not getting the truth, and I really wanted people to get it. And so, with that being said, all right, I see my sister on there. What's up, sister? Good to see you this morning. Uh, I know it's been a long time. I definitely was not trying to wait so long to come back, but nonetheless, we're here. So I want to first say, I disappeared, made a decision to come back. Um, and really, with this show, I don't really want to focus so intensely on Indianapolis. I really want to focus a lot on things that are going on around the country, things that are issues around the country, and really dive into what we can do as a people to become better. I know that there's a lot that we're dealing with right now, but I don't want us to continue being people who listen to rhetoric. A lot of people say a lot of things, but a lot of people say a lot of things that don't even matter to us anymore. And I think that we have to become better agents of truth. So this show is definitely going to be one that focuses on truth, because I don't want anybody to continue hearing things that are not good for us. So can we say that? Thank you, Paul, man. It's good to be back. Thanks to everybody who is on here right now. Like I said, this is going to be fun. It's going to be challenging. We are going to challenge the status quo in a way that we're used to challenging the status quo. Because when it's all said and done, man, a lot of people are doing some stuff that I don't think is good for our people. So nonetheless, man, let's start it off. I want to talk about All-Star Weekend. I know Indianapolis had the All-Star game this week or this weekend. You had All-Star Weekend, and I'm really wanting to know what you all feel about All-Star Weekend. How did it go? Was it successful? Did you have a good time? What did you do? So if anybody's in the chat, just chime in with me. I know that according to the IBJ, and I think I have that article, but NBA All-Star Weekend, according to the IBJ, we were supposed to be able to generate, I think we were supposed to be able to generate like $320 million, if you all can see that. And so NBA All-Star event in Indianapolis expected to have a $320 million economic impact. And this was last year when this article came out in the IBJ. And basically, when I thought about it, I was like, that's a pretty good statistic. But when I thought about it, I was, hey, what's up, Sandra? When I thought about it, I said, $320 million generated in Indianapolis. What does that look like? And the crazy part about it is, Indianapolis, I always say this for those who know me, I always say Indianapolis for Black people, last in median household income, last in housing, right? Last in employment, right? First in food deserts, first in jail population, first in homicides, first in areas of poor water and food quality, right? Or poor water and air quality, excuse me. So when I look at this and they say, we had the possibility of generating $320 million in the city over 4 days, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. My question to you is, when you look at the statistics of Black people, where do we fare as it relates to All-Star Weekend? Because I'm thinking to myself, that if that money doesn't go anywhere, it doesn't seem to, I don't think the money is going to go into our community. Let me say that first. I don't think the money is going to go into our community because, quite frankly, it hasn't. We voted for a mayor. We voted for a mayor who does not, from my perspective, have our best interest at heart. And now that he's in office, you're seeing him less, you're hearing him less, you're calling him, he's not answering. People who once called him, I've talked to people who have once called him are now saying that they can't get in touch with him. Why? Somebody, if you all can answer that. So they probably won't put any of that money back. I agree. I don't think they will. But here's the challenge. For anyone who was on here who went to All-Star Weekend, here's my challenge. You had an event at Burn. I think you have multiple events at Burn. Burn is owned by Rocky Patel, right? You had a lot of Black people inside Rocky Patel. I know that there were a lot of Black promoters inside Rocky Patel. Kudos to those people who were involved in that. I don't want to poo on that. So I'm gonna cheer for them. Here's my challenge. For all the partying, I know the hotels made it to where you had to do 4 days or 4 nights. So most people had to do Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, right? So 4 days, however many nights, 3 days, however you know hotel. Y'all know hotel jargon. I don't. And a lot of pop-up venues. You had a lot of pop-up. All right, we're going to do that. We'll talk about that today. Call me later. You had a lot of pop-up venues, right? And you did have some vendors that were Black. I did see Bun B with Churro Burgers, I think it is, which was cool. And you may have had some pop-up stores. But here's the thing. With all the money that was spent, with all the money that was generated, most of the venues don't belong to us. And I want us to begin to see this. Most of the venues don't belong to us. We go inside the venue, we give the money, we believe we're going to have fun. And I'm with us all having fun. It's like, I get it. But that dollar's not going to us. We had all the fun in the world. I call NBA All-Star Weekend the biggest Black event in the country. For real. I call it the biggest Black event in the country. My challenge to us is we don't get any of the money. I mean, some people made some bread. You know, the DJs made some bread. Some singers may have gotten paid. Some people we made some scratch. We made some crumbs. Okay, let's say that. We made some freaking crumbs. But at the end of the day, everything we put out, everything we partied in, every venue we went in, everything we were inside does not belong to us. And if anyone knows of any place, let me say this, I'll take that back. You did have some nightclubs around the city that made some money. That's good. But the crux of it, the bigger side of it, Jovito's is downtown, they made some money. AJ's Lounge is downtown, they may have made some money. You've got the Fountain may have made a little bit of money. So shout out to all the Black-owned businesses that got to make some money during the All-Star Weekend. The challenge is most of the people who got the majority of the money do not look like me. And for the most part, you. And this is my challenge. This is my challenge. Please don't be mad at me, but this is my challenge. Just like we showed up for All-Star Weekend, can we show up for something that helps build us? I don't ever see us in droves like this. I don't ever see us come out like that for anything that can help change the narrative of how we live. We have meetings, we have calls, we have town halls, we have all sorts of stuff going on. But when it comes down to saying we're going to show up for that, we don't show up. We don't show up. And I'm confused as to why we don't show up. But I'm like, We need to start showing up. We can't just be people who want to have fun. It's the Cyndi Lauper thing. Girls just want to have fun. We can't be people that just want to have fun. Because I'm going to tell y'all something. You know, being a person from Indianapolis and a person who keeps up with the statistics of Indianapolis, wake up. Black people in Indianapolis, wake up. Why? The possibility of you continuing to live in Indianapolis is dwindling. It's going away. If you don't own a home in Indianapolis right now, I promise you, you have a problem. Let me tell you why. I think I just saw the statistics where we're number 5 in the country in evictions. Number 5 in the United States. Number 5. We have the largest rental hike in the country. Number 1. The largest rental hike in the country with no cap. Okay? If this trend continues, Black people will not live in Indianapolis. Why? Like I said earlier, lowest median household income. Here's the other part. Most Black people, 3 out of 10 Black people own a home. Okay? 3 out of 10 Black people in Indianapolis own a home, 30%, right? 7 out of 10 Black people in Indianapolis rent. Highest rental increase in the nation. 5th in evictions. You voted for the man because he dances. I understand. I like to see your mayor do the cha-cha slide. Okay, we'll take that. Here's the challenge. You like to see the mayor do the cha-cha slide. Okay, he does the cha-cha. Here's the problem. He knows it. He knows that if this rate continues, we have to move. He knows that the income is not changing. He knows inflation is taking place. Here's my question. If it continues on that path, you'll have to move. And here's the kicker as I put my hands in here. Here's the kicker. The possibility of Indianapolis having a Black mayor is diminishing as well. The largest group of Black people in Indiana live in Marion County. Okay? Black people in Indianapolis are the largest population of Black people in Indiana, right? 30%. I say this all the time. Marion County has more Black people in it than Fulton County, which is Atlanta. Okay? So when you look at Atlanta, I think Atlanta is like the 64th largest city in the country, 64th, something like that. Metro Atlanta, they always want to talk about the Metro of Atlanta. We're not talking about the Metro Atlanta. We're going to talk about Indianapolis. We're going to talk about Atlanta. Indianapolis has dang near 300,000 people, Black people. 300,000. And I'm like, what are we doing? What are we doing? We always run to Atlanta. We talk about Atlanta being the mecca for Black people. Let me challenge y'all on this. Let me open your mind for a minute, okay? Open your mind for a minute. Atlanta almost mimicked Indiana or Indianapolis. Atlanta is a Democratic city in a red state, right? They were smart enough to take the capital. They were smart enough to take the big city, right? So they go take Atlanta. It's irking me. And then Indianapolis, Black folk, let me challenge you again, had 2 of the largest Black events in the country. You had Circle City Classic, which at the time was the largest Black event in the country. And you had Black Expo, which was the largest Black event in the country. And now Essence Fest is only a mirror of what Black Expo used to be. What am I trying to tell us? I'm trying to tell you that Black people in Indianapolis have become lazy. We have chosen leaders who go along to get along. We have become lazy at the polls. If 10%, if 10% of Black people, let's just say 10% of Black people out of the 300,000, okay, 10%, if 10% showed up at the polls, and then you mix in other cultures and races at the polls, we'd have a Black mayor all the time. All the time. I say it again. If we ever came out like we came out for All-Star Weekend, if we ever put our resources together like we do when it's time to party, we might make some noise. We might change some stuff, right? I'm just saying. I'm just saying. This show is for us to think. This show is for authenticity. As I invite guests, and if you look at the bottom at the ticker, you'll see it says, if you'd like to be a guest on No Apologies, please email us at blackonblackllc@gmail.com, because we're gonna bring on lots of guests. Right now, this is our trial phase. We're just getting this thing rolling. But we're gonna bring on tons and tons of guests. We're gonna bring on national guests. There have been some people that used to be on my old show when I had the Black on Black show. Dr. Umar Johnson, Wahida Clark, just a plethora of people that I'm going to call, because I want to get a lot of different perspective on that. And what was that again that we want to get, Lori? If you can type that really quickly so I can give you that again. Give you the banner. Oh, Black on Black LLC @gmail.com. And anybody that, if we want to have you on as a guest, if you come on, we want to be able to, I want to dive back into community. I want to have a challenging, like we are going, this is not, let me say this is not the show to come to if we're not going to get to the bottom of it. This is not that show. This is a show. There you go. Black on Black LLC @gmail.com. Thank you, Lord, for putting that out. This is not the show to come to if you're gonna come on, if you think you're gonna play. And when I invite you, just know this. I'm not I'm cooking. I'm not inviting you to bash you. I am inviting you. One, I'm inviting guests who I want us to course correct. Let me say that. I want us to course correct. If I invite you on as a politician, I'm inviting you on so that I want you, it's like a minister. I want you to hear yourself. I want you to hear yourself. I want you to hear what the people are hearing. I want you to understand that I'm asking you these questions because people are asking those questions to me. And when people ask those questions to me and I have to address those questions, my position changes, because then I say, what's the point of view? And that's just real. What's the point of view if I have to be the person that handles your business? That just can't be. Okay. So moving on, man. I did not get a chance to talk about the Shannon Sharp and Mike Epps issue. And I saw that over the weekend they squashed their beef, which I thought was commendable. I think that when it's all said and done, conflict resolution is definitely at the top of our charts. As men, as women, as Black folk, we have to do a better job of being able to sit down. You need to do a better job and sit down with each other and be able to say, you know what? I didn't understand you. I personally believe that most of our conflict takes place because of misunderstandings. And I think that our misunderstandings, we become so sensitive to criticism. We become so sensitive to anything happening to us, that the only way we resolve it is by hurt and harm. You know, there are people around me that say I get on their nerves. I know I do. But at the same time, it's like sometimes I think that people mishear or misunderstand. They hear me, sometimes they hear part of the message, and then after hearing part of the message, they make the decision to take that part and then they run with it. And then they find themselves mad at me. And I'm like, we can always talk. There are people on here right now, we can always talk, because in my heart of hearts, I love everybody, like hard. I wouldn't do what I do every single day. I wouldn't get up and challenge myself. I wouldn't get up at 9 o'clock in the morning and start another radio show or podcast only to be like, I hate you, because I don't. I'm a guy who loves to have a lot of fun. I'm also a guy who loves for us to get it straight. You know, for lack of better moments, I walked in a venue and you know, we had some conversation and things were supposed to go a certain way and things didn't necessarily go that way. And people know me, they know that, you know, I paused because I was like, we didn't discuss this. And when I don't understand, it's like I pause and I then try to recall anything that was said so that I can course correct, so that I can do what's right in that situation. And 9 times out of 10, I will ask you. I don't mind asking you, because I want us to be clear, you know? And so again, conflict resolution. Thank you to Shannon Sharp. Thank you to Mike Epps for again sitting down and talking to one another. Now I'm gonna say this because I have to say this, brother Mike. I'm gonna say this, bro. We gotta always tell the truth when it's all said and done. I know a lot of people. I saw a lot of the comments on Facebook. Let me tell y'all, I am back on Facebook. I'm not saying much on Facebook. I have not liked much on Facebook. I've just kind of watched on Facebook. And a lot of people took a position that I did not like. A lot of people took the position of Shannon Sharp don't want to pull up in Indianapolis. Mike got these goons. These are grown people. Not cool. Mike Epps, Mike Epps is talking, Mike was talking all that blank, 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 blank stuff. People were rooting for that. And as leaders, let me take that back. As people that people watch, as a person that people watch, I just want us to be cognizant of what we say. Because if something had happened with Shannon Sharp, that would have been the end of Mike Epps' career. But Mike even from a comedy standpoint, we can give satire all day, but then to take satire and kind of shame somebody or say somebody did something that they didn't do, people hold you at your word. Most people do. And if you said that Shannon Sharp DM'd you to be on the show and Shannon Sharp didn't, man to man, Mike, and then talked about him, man to man, Mike, he shouldn't have said that on social media. But to be the butt of one's joke on an untrue statement is a hard thing to swallow. Most men would not have liked that. I must be honest. Most men would have been upset. And so I just want us to understand that we got to be able to resolve some conflicts. We've got to be able to come together in unity. So I saw something from my brother, Jeff Carpenter. He said, please address our streets. Where's the money going to fix these streets? Why don't we use the same materials as Fisher and Carmel areas? Let me say this, man. That's a good question. So Carmel, So if you go to Carmel, you find out that uh, Carmel is probably going to use the best materials, and they probably are not going to use the worst material to um, get up snow or to clean snow. I don't know what they use, but it's possibly something that's cutting edge, because when you go to Carmel, I don't really ever see potholes. I don't really go to Carmel often. Let me say that. I don't really go to Carmel often. But I will say that if we're in Carmel, it's like we gotta we gotta do something different about that, because how can I say this? Carmel probably uses concrete, okay? And if they're using concrete, cool. If not, I don't know. But I think they're probably using concrete. And with that being said, here's Indianapolis's challenge. Someone somewhere has a deal with the mix plant. Somebody. Because Indianapolis, during the cold season, Indianapolis uses cold mix. Now, if you know anything about asphalt, you know that you've got cold mix, hot mix, and then you've got concrete, right? Concrete is the most expensive. Cold mix is the less expensive. Hot mix is in the middle. Now, not to diss DPW, because I got a lot of friends that are there, but I will say this: somebody got a deal somewhere, all right? And then the brothers of DPW are getting due. Here's how it works: when they go and clean out a pothole, they must clean all the way to the bottom, get everything out of there, right? Because if they don't, the liquid will seep down to the bottom, and then it spreads under the street, which creates a larger pothole. Now, if they properly clean them, then here's the challenge: they're using cold mix during the winter. Cold mix buckles, busts, grows, all that, okay? We don't want that. I said it when I was running for mayor last year. I talked about the hot mix. The hot mix plant in Indianapolis is not even open during the winter, okay? When I said something, the hot mix then started being used. Now, the expense, this is community investing. We have got to be better agents of pushing for our communities to be invested in. I don't care how anybody feels about Mayor Brainerd from Carmel with all the TIFs and all that kind of stuff. They got a lot of tax stuff popping off now. They could be in a lot of debt. But I'm gonna say this: the way they invest in their city in Carmel is totally different than how we invest in Indianapolis. It's a sad thing when you realize that Carmel and Fishers have been deemed two of the best places to live in America over and over and over and over and over. Carmel and Fishers were deemed two of the safest places to live in America just last year. But oh Lord, if you cross 96th Street and going south, and all of a sudden you're back in Marion County, you're back in one of the most dangerous cities in the country. We vote for these people, right? No vote should be silent. No person should just vote. I say this all the time: investigate, vote, hold them accountable. I'll repeat that. Investigate the candidate, vote for whichever candidate you want to. Whoever gets elected, hold them freaking accountable. Don't let them show up. Stop letting them in your pulpit. I thought the pulpit was sacred, but I'm not going to get on that. I'm not going to ride that horse right now. But stop it. Stop allowing them to come in your church, get in your pulpit, pray on your people, PREY. You're supposed to protect us. Don't let them come in there and talk that talk. Them dudes need to come in there and get it together. Get it right. Hey, Joe, you came, you talked. What are you going to do now? Don't let them just do that. Don't let them just do that. You came, you talked. What's next? I'm with all of that. For real. I'm with all of that. But don't come in here lying about the same dilapidated neighborhoods, the same buildings that's falling apart, the same sidewalks that's broken, the same street lights that don't work, and use it in your campaign and then disappear. It's happening all over the country. It's happening all over the country. But these are the things, these are the people that we're going to have on this show. Because when we get them on the show, I want y'all to ask the same questions. And don't run from it. And can I say this? I'm going to say this. Y'all ain't going to like it, but I'm going to say it. Be able to resist being a prop. When you see him and you ain't happy, don't get in the camera and smile. Move out the way. Ain't no way in hell I'm going to be mad about my neighborhood being broken down and tore up. And then the dude come in and grab me, and I stand like I just killed the bear, got one leg up, and it's like, then he disappears. I ain't seen the dude. I saw him, I saw him on the thing for All-Star weekend, but he's you again. Y'all popped up every time y'all see him. And then I'm gonna get this all out. And then we done with this. We done with this. Okay? February 20th, Hallville meeting, 6:00. That's in a couple days. That's tomorrow. Okay, can you send me a text so that I can put it on my calendar? Because your little brother is getting old, and I don't remember half the stuff. I see Shauna Majors on here. She know I'm getting old. I don't remember half the stuff. I'll be late. I'll forget. Y'all got to work with me because, again, I don't have it like I used to. But I will come to that meeting. I will come to that meeting. But I'm going to say this. Don't do that. Stop being in the props. Stop being in the pictures. We had commercials. All the commercials had Black people in them. All the candidates had Black people in them. And then Black people get left out. All the commercials have Black people in them. Black people get left out. So with that being said, you've got, for the people of Indianapolis, you've got a gubernatorial race coming up. You've got a race for people running for governor. Okay? You've got Braun, you've got Susan Crouch, you've got Curtis Hill, you got a host of people running. I'm gonna say this. I've sat with two of the candidates, and I'm gonna tell y'all, man, this is just how I feel. I don't know. I know that Curtis Hill got sat down, right? He was Attorney General, Black man. I'll say this: he's one of the sharpest people I've ever met. I don't know, I know that he had a situation where women said that it was alleged that he sexually assaulted them or touched them inappropriately. That's a challenging thing for me because I know the place, but I don't know. But I don't think he was ever formally charged. I'll say that. Here's the challenge I have with Curtis Hill that I believe people have had with Curtis Hill. The problem people have had with Curtis Hill is that Curtis Hill held the record for the most votes for anybody in Indiana history. And as a Black man, that is a tremendous accomplishment for a Black man to have the most votes in Indiana history in one election. And I think, in my personal opinion, I think people had it out for him. I think people had it out for him. I don't know if he made it easy for people to have it out for him, but I believe people had it out for him, and I think it has done some damage to his political career. I still talk to him. I think he's a great guy. But when I look at the numbers, I know that Curtis Hill accomplished something that no other Black person has ever accomplished in Indiana, and that's getting 3 million votes. Enough said. You're a target at that point. 3 million votes. You're a Black man. You're smart. You dress nice. You're well groomed. You're nice. You're nice looking, tall, brother. You know, attorney on your thing. It's like you're gonna have some hell to pay in this state. The other candidate I met with was Susan Crouch, who is currently the lieutenant governor of Indiana. We had a meeting. Unfortunately, this is my challenge, and I'll say this publicly. I don't want to meet with people. I've changed my approach, because in the city of Indianapolis, I used to just meet with people. And let me tell you, for anybody out there listening who is involved, who wants to be involved, this is what I will tell you. In Indiana, if you got some thoughts, never walk into those meetings without an NDA. Never walk into those meetings without your intellectual property being protected. Okay? These people will take your ideas. I've got $1 million ideas living in Indianapolis that I don't make a dime from, and people don't know that I created those things. Don't do it. Second, if you don't do an NDA, walk in and say less. Listen, talk skeleton. Talk skeleton. Don't give no details. Talk skeleton. And then be like, listen, if you want this information, put me on the plan. Put me on the payroll. Okay? So taking us back to Susan, I talked to Susan, and a lot of questions were asked, but at the end of the day, I'm just not one who's going to give answers. I'm just not. Unfortunately, I haven't talked to her since. I know that one of the things that you all don't know is everybody who is running is trying to figure out how to get Marion County. Why? Because the largest group of Black people live in Marion County. Enough said. It goes back to what I said about the mayor. Everybody who's running for governor is like, how do I get Marion County? Because if you could get, especially if you get the Black vote, if you get the Black vote in Marion County, you're a shoo-in. It's that simple. And I'm going to reach out to both of them today, and I'm going to see if we could get either both or one of them on this week, and see if they'll be willing to answer some questions. Because I think that we have to be better agents of voting on a state level as well. The state house is a dangerous place for us because we are the super minority. And when you're super minority, it's hard to get legislation passed for people that look like you and I. And we've got to figure out how to work that. And I honestly, I truly believe that, again, if we can't take the state, we need to take the city. And we got to figure out, we got 4 years. We got 4 freaking years. We're on a countdown. Okay? We're on a total countdown for the next 4 years. So all of a sudden, it's going to be a situation where if we don't exist in this city, in the next 4 years, we'll never have a Black mayor. But we got to figure out what that is. But we got to fight for legislation. We got to fight about, we need to go and fight about real estate. And I'm not talking about fighting about real estate to say just about the rent. I'm talking about we got to fight to be able to stay. We need a cap. We need a cap on rental. We can't keep raising rent by 125%. We need to fight for that. So write that down. We need to fight about the rent going up so high, right? Corporate ownership in these houses, we need to talk about that. Okay. And then from that point, it's like we'll figure out the rest. We just got to figure out how we need to stay in the city of Indianapolis. Real talk. All right. So moving on. It's so much, man, that I'm trying to get out in this hour because I know that this is my first show being back. I know that there's so much stuff I want to talk about, but it's just too much information to even get out there in the first show. But again, and I say this, going back to Jeff. Let me go back, Jeff. Uh, I need for you, whoever your counselor is, reach out to your counselor. You all can go right now and you can log in. You can go to Google and you can be like, find my elected officials and find the one for the state of Indiana. And when you type it in and you type in your zip code, it's going to give you every level of government. It's going to give you the executive level. It's going to tell you who your president is, your vice president is, who this person is. It's going to tell you who your senator is. It's going to tell you who your state rep is. It's going to tell you who your judges are. It's going to tell you who your counselor is. And then reach out to your counselor. Send them an email. And when you send them an email and you don't get a response, I got something for you to do. Call me. And then we can address it. Because we definitely need more people saying more things. And again, we also need more people running for office as well. Okay. So I want to take back something because I know that we talked about leaders. And I know that that Mike Epps and a lot of guys, most counselors have email, and yes, most have email and phone numbers. And not only that, they also have social media, and they're also not supposed to block you. So reach out to if you know who your counselor is, reach out to him. Let me tell you, this is a challenge. This is a challenge. Open your mind. Here's the challenge with your council. You have a majority. You have a majority in the council. The council's Democratic. And it's a lot of black folk on there. So, sister, brother, you on the council, step up to the plate. Step up to the plate. Because if you don't step up to the plate, then what's the point? All right. Indianapolis had I think you had over 10 non-fatal shootings over the weekend. I know one on the south side. I think it was a south side Waffle House that had 6 people who were shot. I know you had 3 on the northwest side. One was fatal. I think you had another fatality somewhere, maybe on the west side. I think you had maybe 2 or 3 fatalities and a plethora of non-fatals. I know IMPD had a lot going on downtown, but this city is in an uproar. I think we have over shot last night. Yeah, 6 were shot last night. Yeah, but over the collective of the weekend, Miss Lori, I believe we had well over 10, and maybe closer to 12. And so we got to do a better job with that, man. I'll tell you guys, man, young brothers are dying. And I believe young brothers are dying because of hopelessness. I said this, man, and make sure y'all watch Landed on the Line. I'm saying that really quickly. Make sure y'all watch Landed on the Line with Shauna Majors and myself. That's every Friday on WHMB TV 40 at 8 a.m. And if you don't see it there, you'll see it on our YouTube page, which is under WHMB TV 40. And look up Landed on the Line, man. We give some great content. But it brought me to thinking. I said on the show, I said, young men are dying in these streets. I said, name the black male in the city of Indianapolis that you look to and say, he's real, he's us, He's in control. He got some power. Just the whole gamut. Like that black dude that we used to look at, that King thing, that Malcolm thing, that Medgar thing, that Baldwin thing, that brother that you say, that brother is solid. And not only that, and he's in the front. We don't have it. We don't have it. And it's a darn shame that we don't. Because, thank you, sister. Because young black men don't see what they can be. Malcolm X said it best. He said, name the comedian in the white community that they call a leader. Name the athlete in the white community that they call a leader. Name the musician in the white community that they call a leader. They don't. They call them entertainers. They're not leaders. And most of them, to remain entertainers, only will say what the status quo tells them to say. We're seeing it in our city. We're seeing it right now. And I don't want to say our brother is gone, but in my eyes, our brother is gone. I've never seen him more active in politics. I've never seen him stand side by side with politicians until now. And all of a sudden, they're allowing him to be in places and in positions to do things, And this is no diss to Mike Epps. This is me saying I love you, but don't let them use you. And be a real advocate, bro, because even our educational system got broken simply because they just adored you on comedy. Mike Epps is honest about his education and told you that he dropped out of school and then came back to get his GED. And the IPS, the Indianapolis public school system, put Mike Epps in the IPS Hall of Fame. And they basically just slapped everybody in the face who did it right. They slapped everybody else in the face who was highly successful, who went through the educational system of IPS and made something of themselves and did it. Just because he's funny, just because he's rich, doesn't garner him the right to walk into the Hall of Fame of an educational institution. Because you kill the hope of others. And all of a sudden others say, man, I did some work. I tried. And they get left out. And most of them are left out over some political BS. And we have to be better agents of truth. And we have to say, bruh, nah, you don't get that award. You can get this award, but you can't get that award. Let's be real on that. Let's be solid on that. Because until we start telling the truth about who we are and doing right by the truth, kids are going to keep failing. Kids are going to keep dying. Because as adults, we're doing them a disservice. I'm just keeping it a buck. As adults, we're doing them a disservice. Tell the truth. Stand on it. Be like, I didn't deserve that. And I'm telling this to leaders before we get up out of here. Man, if you're not fit for it, step over. If you're not fit for the spot, tell them who is. Too many people in the wrong position and blocking someone who could do the job effectively. Because a lot of people in our city are in position because people like them. And a lot of people who could do the job great are not in position because people don't. I want to say thank you to Sonia Cook. Okay? All the people who worked in the office while he was running it, maybe that would be a decent barometer to use for thinking about his potential tenure as governor. Only my opinion, people would do what they do. Hey, Jennifer, I agree. Because I can't speak to that. And as I stated, I haven't endorsed anyone. Because I won't. Because I don't know his hand. I don't know his hands. I'll say that. I don't know his hands. And so for me, I'm all for the talks. I'm all for it because at the end of the day, it's about finding out what's true. And then we set our people up. We set people up to be successful. And I don't mean just the person who's running. I'm talking about the people who vote. The people who vote need to have a success story. You need people in position that breed success for the people who voted for them. Yeah. So I'm with you, and we can have this conversation. I look forward to it. I look forward to it. And so young men will not become old men if we don't support old men. If we don't support men who are out here trying, striving, successful, look the part, act the part, stand up for people, if we're not supporting them, the youth ain't gonna be nothing. They're not gonna survive because they don't see it. The only people they present to our kids are entertainers. And isn't it amazing that in all this money that was generated in Indianapolis, the only thing Black people did was everything we did on a plantation? We cooked, we played, we danced, we sang, and they got paid. Think about it. We cooked, we danced, we played, we sang. They got paid. Paul Mooney said it once. He said it best. He said one time, he said, I got into a cab. And the cab driver was driving. And he said, what do you do? And he said, I'm an entertainer. He said, the cab driver looked at him and said, aren't all of you? Aren't all of you? That's why they present our kids with athletes. That's why they put them in the forefront. We ran to go see them. We acted like it was Christmas. We ran downtown. We spent our hard-earned money. I guarantee you, it's some people right now hurting financially because they went downtown. One thing I know, I ain't got no business partying with rich people. I just don't. I'm wise enough to know that. I'm wise enough to know that if I'm in the room and I'm with people, and unless I'm there to gain some type of opportunity of networking, I don't care how rich you are. I'm not riding your jock. I don't care how rich you are. I'm not bowing down. I don't care how rich you are. None of that. If I'm not there to be able to have an opportunity, I ain't got no business being there. Too much bread. And what I'm going to do, try to keep up. And that's what a lot of people did this weekend. They tried to keep up. And when you look at those games, and it's like sisters praying for you. Because let me tell you, as a former college athlete, this happens in every town they go in. Every town they go in. And you thinking that you're going to be the one is slim to none. Let me be real on that. Slim to none. I probably ran into a lot of dudes who was lying, who jacked their Mac and spent their money, got up in the hotels and had and did all the whatevers. Okay? And then I'm gonna tell you, Cinderella, the ball is over. Wake up, Cinderella. It's Monday. Because here's what's gonna happen. All the numbers that y'all was able to call for the last 4 days, they turned off. Them WhatsApp numbers, they turned off. Them Google numbers, they're turned off. Now we on to a new city. Or back to the crib with my girlfriend. Or back to the crib with my wife. And all because he had a little bread. We can't be for sale like that, y'all. We just can't. Because at the end of the day, it's like, what are we selling? What are we doing to ourselves? I ask all the time, what's the greatest shackle, the paper or the metal? It's the paper. We sell our souls for paper, for the paper dollar. We give ourselves, we fight, we kill, we hurt, we lie, we do everything. We turn on our own culture. We don't promote within. We don't help each other out simply because of $1. And we could get all the money if we ever came together. So I'm gonna get to my last part, which is the OJ of the day. I'll play the music the next time. We working on all this audio. But the OJ of the day award goes to someone who does something that I believe is detrimental to the Black community, whether it be locally or nationally. I just keep up with people who do things that I think are not good for the culture. So the OJ of the day, this is not good. The OJ of the day, uh, it has to go to unfortunately, it has to go to George Hill and it has to go to Amp Harris. And the reason it has to go to these two brothers is because they, I feel sorry for Common, man. I wanna reach out to Common so badly because to have Common, such a conscious brother, such a brother who has always played in movies as a stand-up Black man, who's always been vocal about Black culture, hip hop. You know, the guy who made "I Used to Love Her," the guy who you see, and he's always just kept it Afrocentric, represents outside of Chicago with no question, always wants what's best for his brothers and sisters. But they had our brother performing at Newfields. And I know he didn't do his due diligence. And I know that when Black actors and entertainers come to this city, they always end up being in the hands of someone who acts like they down for the cause. But when you walk away, you find out that they're not. And so I have to give the OJ of the day to those brothers simply because Newfields wrote in an article when looking for someone to hire that they wanted someone who can uphold their white art culture. And we took that. We didn't boycott it. We got people still sitting on the board, new board members, after other board members left, after the CEO left, after you see them using and abusing Black people. Y'all still had the nerve to have an all-star soiree on the plantation. The place they called the room the Toby. The Tobias room was called the Toby. Get real. Get real. We got to do better. I don't care about the venue. Find another place. As we move forward, Newfield should be on the ban list for Black folk. If you ain't down, move on. And don't just take their word for it. Don't just say, okay, you did something right today. Okay, you went and got 2 Black women. And furthermore, I'm going to take 5 more. Furthermore, can we please get some Black men in position somewhere in Indianapolis? We used to have a Black deputy mayor. Now we don't have none. We used to have a Black CEO of Expo. Now we haven't had one since the guy that ran it died. We used to have Black people over a whole lot of stuff. We don't see Black men anywhere. We don't see Black men anywhere. And we okay with it? I'm going to tell y'all, the sign of a true racist is where a Black man isn't. I'll say that again. The sign of a true racist is where a Black man isn't. Willie Lynch said, get the Black woman. She makes for sound sleep and good economics. It says she will put her people, we will be in a frozen state of independence. She'll be independent, our people will be frozen. No diss to my sisters because I know you're qualified. I know you're smart. I know you're beautiful. I know you're the runway to our success. Still need protection. Still need that guidance. Looking at a 50-year-old Black man, you should say that's really a survivor. Looking at a Black man who gets up every single day and tries, you should say that's a real one right there. Because he's got to get up every single day knowing that he's challenged, knowing that he is going against something so big that he knows he should lose, yet he fights. Then he may have to come home and battle. Then he got to go home and battle. He gotta go to the job and battle. He gotta go in the streets and battle. He gotta battle the government, his boss, the police, sometimes his wife. If he's on bad terms with his kids, sometimes his kids in his community, he could get killed. Yet he gets up every single day. That's why they're scared of us. That's why they'd rather us eliminate ourselves. We're not in position because they give you the myth of unemployment. They give you the number, but the number is only the people who can get the benefit. What happens after you can't get the benefit? Yet you're qualified and still not employed. Yet you're qualified and still being overlooked. Yet you're qualified and still underpaid. But you get up every single day. Hug a Black man today. Tell a young Black man, keep thriving. Tell an old Black man, thank you for surviving. Especially if he's a sound mind. Especially if he's still getting up every day trying. Hug him, tell him, thank you. Because somebody sees them. But we got to do a better job of elevating them. Don't let nobody tell you that. I'm going to say this for me. Don't let nobody tell you I'm a bad dude. Don't let your politicians tell me I'm no good for Black people. Don't let nobody tell you I'm not qualified. Because they know I am. They know I am. So every show, man, I'm going to say this. I'm going to end every show with a verse. Because I just believe. And Hebrews 11 says, now faith is the substance of the things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. And I want to say this. It's like believing that you can is all that matters. Because once you believe, it says faith without works is dead. Put that belief into action. I stand before you as a person who did not want to get on and do this. I didn't want to do a show again. I didn't want to use my voice again. I said, God, I've given everything that I have to my people. Yet I walk in a city where I can't even get employed. Yet I walk in a place where I can't be on committees. I can't get involved because I've stood up. And let me tell you, and this is why I challenge the church, and we'll talk about that at another time. I challenge the church because I said, if you are faithful, if you believe that God is the source of your power, if you believe that God is the source of your everything, why be scared? If you believe he's all in all, why run? You can't put on the whole armor and retreat. The armor is put on to go forward. The armor is not meant to bow down. The armor don't have to turn tricks. The armor don't have to shut up. The armor don't have to be beholden to no government official. If you believe, do, stand, fight, be fearless. And when more of us become fearless, I'm no longer an easy target. When more of us become fearless, I won't be left out. When more of us become fearless, I know I'll be protected. We can't look and say, I love Greg Meriweather, yet not protect him. We can't be those people that say, I listen to Greg Meriweather, but I don't agree with what he says, only for you to be able to say, oh, okay, as long as you ain't listening to what he says. Because this show, no apologies, please, because this show is a show where I'm going to say, come on and tell me what you tell me what you disagree with. Tell me what you disagree with. And then we can have that conversation in front of the people. Because I believe most people just disagree because I stand on it. Because I operate in the faith. Because I operate knowing that God is in control. I don't do scared talk. Shauna Majors will tell you that. Mimi Morris will tell you that. Most people on here will tell you that. I don't do scared talk. When people say, I'm Meriweather, I'm concerned for you. I say, don't tell me that because God ain't never showed me that. God only told me to move. God only told me to sacrifice. God only told me to speak on it. And God only told me to be fearless. I ask that you get you some Hebrews 11 in you so that we can get some Hebrew 11 in us. And when we get that in us, we can be people who change the world. Man, this has been your brother. No apologies, please. Please share the content. We're going to do this, man, as much as we can, as often as we can. I am looking forward to building. Me and my sister was talking about doing a night show so we could talk crazy. So, Shauna, we're going to be in touch on that. And, I just want everyone to understand, man, this is all love. This is all sacrifice. But it's one thing's for sure. It's all real. No apologies, please. I've been your brother. Y'all have a great one. Peace.